Hi, welcome to the 5th week of this home practice during the time of the coronavirus. And I was thinking I should stop numbering the weeks, but maybe it's nice to have a sense of how long we've been doing social isolating. Maybe it's good to have a countdown, I'm not sure. There is a term in yoga philosophy for freedom that is kaivalya. Kaivalya can be translated as freedom or liberation. It comes from the word kevala, which means one, the number one. And so it could also be translated as oneness or wholeness. And that relates very much to what this process of yoga is very much about in a fundamental way, and that's integration. And we talk a lot in yoga about going into ourselves, going in. There's also a from in, going out. And so those are both, there's sort of an interplay between the going in and the going out. And I want to stay with the idea today of this oneness and finding one's oneness within. And in a very literal, physical way, finding a oneness in the core of ourselves. The core rather as even understood in a movement theory way as being the abdominal organs and where we have to like organize our bodies physically. But then also in this kind of metaphysical way, this physical metaphysical way of the core being like the core of who I am. What gives me that feeling of oneness in me? What gives me that feeling of self? Because that's where our vitality rises from. So a trusted advisor told me that it was important during this time to go to make space for the vitality. Go to that really kind of a sacred space where the vitality is. So here we go. Feel the base of your seat. Go down with your sitting bones. Lift from there. A sense of lengthening from your hips up to your armpits. Take your arms out wide. You can feel the underside of your arms here to connect to that feeling of lift. And bring your palms together in front of your body, the base of your sternum. And let your eyes close. Go in to the feeling of your breath in you. Take your awareness to your breath and let your breath move your awareness through you. Keep the press of your sitting bones down, the lift of your side body, and sense a lift along the center line of yourself. From in front of the tailbone all the way up the sides of the spine to the crown of your head. Feel also width in yourself, depth. Feel the complete circumference of your rib cage. 360 degrees. Let's chant Om 3 times together. So Om is the sound of life. Like it's all the sound of all the life. Bow your head to your heart. Pet your dog. If you don't have a dog to pet, you can pet your thighs. Okay, we're going to start out, we're going to lie on our backs and put our blankets to the side. You could have a blanket if you need it at any point for cushioning or for a headrest. Otherwise, just put your blankets to the side. Bed. Come on, over here. Bed. And lie on your back. Put your block first on your belly. And let your arms be spread out to your side so you get a feeling of airiness on your side body. Go on. Bed. Go on. And let the block help you feel the breath in your lower body. Feel how the breath lifts on the inhalation, drops down on the exhalation. And let that easy breath help you sort of soften, maybe unwind the muscles of your back body so that there's a settling to the floor of your back body. Let go of tension in your shoulders and in your neck. Bjorn, bed, Bjorn, bed. Come on, bed. Bed. That's good. And now keep that feeling of that settling of the back body on the floor and take your block and put it in between your knees. Hold the sides of your mat. Push the mat down in the direction of your hips and roll your arm bones down to the floor. So as you do that, you'll feel your shoulder blades slide down your back and your chest can be open here, full, and your collarbones can be wide. Now, we're going to go right into some active core exercises of keeping the low back on the floor here. As we lower the legs, you can use the exhale as you lower the legs, touch the toes, breathe in, and bring the legs back up. So keep the low back pressing here. Don't let your pelvis roll forward and back. That's a good action to do, rolling the pelvis forward and back. We're just not doing it here. We're stabilizing through the lower body. Exhale on the way down, squeeze the block. Breathe in on the way up. Exhale on the way down. Breathe in on the way up. And now take the block and turn it and put it on your knees and put your elbows on the block and press. We've done this one before. Press the elbows into the block, the knees into the block. You can even curl your head up here. So you're really getting a sense of that scoop of the abdomen here. Move your pubic plate towards your front ribs. And that keeps your back body rounded on the floor. The low back fully on the floor. And And now turn the block longwise. Place it in between your left elbow and your left knee. And now keep the press on your left side as you unfold your right leg and reach your right arm over your head, but you're keeping your low back on the floor the whole time as you do that. Breathe in as you reach the arms. Exhale as you come in. You can also play with different breath patterns, but it's good. It's nice to have a breath pattern to support the movement and to help you feel more what's happening in your low back area, in your abdominals. So I'm breathing in as I reach the arm and the leg, exhaling as I come back in. Second side. You may feel some of the fibers of the back body hardening and trying to lift up off the floor. Try to keep them pressing. Try to keep that feeling of the back body, the low back body, especially long, even wide on the floor. Let's do 2 more. Notice if your shoulders start to creep up towards your ears. With that press on the right side, keep the shoulder blade planted in your back. Okay, take your block, place your feet down, take a little rest here. Block can be on your belly again. Notice if any area in that effort tightened up or tensed up, let go there. Maybe around your neck or your the shoulder blades, maybe again we're lifting towards the ears. Try to soften and release there. Feel like you're spread across your top chest. Your shoulder blades are wide on the floor. Your back body is spreading on the floor. Okay, let's actually remove the block for a moment, stretch the legs long, stretch the arms overhead, and this is Supta Tadasana, lying down mountain pose. Reach out through the inner edge of the feet, the outer edge of the feet, your arms up over your head. And so we were doing so much like drawing in that scooping in at the core. Feel here now like taffy, you're stretching yourself out from that core. You can locate the core wherever it feels right to you to do that. Stretch out from your center. Widen out your feet into your legs now and your arms into an X position. And we're going to start from wide and then come into center, elbow to knee. Right elbow to left knee and lengthen out. And left elbow to right knee and lengthen out. Try not to just pop up off the floor with your torso, but really connect through the movements. So it's a slow expansion, not a sudden drop to the floor or maybe a sudden lift up of the low back body. So I don't my low back is not rounded to the floor when I'm in the big X. So feel that. But I also don't want to be rocking from side to side. So I'm just trying to smooth out the motion. Balance from side to side even. So it's got this feeling of still being connected in my core even when I've spread out wide and big. One more time each side. And now we're going to do a little clamshell action here. So from the big X, I'm going to let one arm come overhead, one leg come around. So my whole left side wraps around. And then I'm just rolled up in like a clamshell or fetus on one side. I kind of like the image of a fetus. And then I'm going to lead with my foot in my hand to open. And again, I don't want to just, my center just to pop up to the ceiling. I want to feel that that spreading is still related to the center. So it's a pulling into center, and it's a spreading out from center, and a pulling into center, and a spreading out from center, and a pulling into center, and spreading out. Nice big X. Expand on the earth. Now take your block back and put it in between your knees. Again, hold the sides of your mat and slide your shoulder blades down your back so you really feel your low back on the floor. Slowly lower the legs down. And now we're going to lift up. Come back down and pull in. So when I lift up, I'm taking my sitting bones towards my knees. I'm trying to really do the action from my buttocks and my legs. I am not pushing up my low back here. And when I come back down, I'm going to engage in the abdominals, pulling the pubic plate towards the front ribs, pull the legs up, and then back down, keeping the low back on the floor. This time, I'm going to go up with 2 feet, keep the sitting bones moving towards the knees, but now I'm going to support, and I'm going to squeeze the block and stabilize on my left side as I stretch my right leg out. And pull it back in. Take both sitting bones towards the knees, stabilize on the right side, take the left leg out. And back in. Lift sitting bones towards both knees. One leg, try to not drop the left sitting bone down as you stretch the right leg. So keep the right sitting bone high, feel it push into the right foot, lengthen the leg, one more time each side. Moving the sitting bone, right sitting bone towards the right knee, keeping it high, and then come back down and pull the block in. Place the block on your abdomen for a moment again, and just feel your breath. Look at your core. Whatever that might mean for you today. Okay, now we're going to put the block. Some of you might be happier keeping legs bent, but so you might go back to legs bent with the knee and block in between your knees. But let's all give a little go for a moment to putting the block in between your feet, holding the sides of the mat again, and reaching the feet up to the ceiling. So you're holding the block with the inner edges of your feet. Get a sense of extending out through your ball mounds, extending out through your heels here. Push the mat away, slide your shoulder blades down your back. And this is called spreading the soles of the feet pose, Prasarita Padasana. Firm your knees. So for those of us who are a little tighter, the legs may not be at a perfect right angle here. And that becomes more abdominal action if they're not at a perfect right angle. It's fine for them not to be in a perfect right angle. Still spread the feet. Press with the inner edges against the block and out. And keep your low back on the floor. If you can be at a right angle, that's fine. Be at a right angle. Okay, bend the knees in. Hold your block. Drop the legs down. And now we're going to repeat that. Or go back to bent legs. So you'll either go back to bent legs and go up and down with your legs bent a few more times, or you'll put the block in between your feet, hold the sides of the mat, and we're going to do 3 of these, holding the sides of the mat, 3 of what? lowering the legs, keeping the low back down, squeezing the block. And as you get down, even feel like your sitting bones are squeezing together. Breathe in and come up. Exhale. Squeeze the block with the inner edges of your feet. Reach out through the inner edges of your feet. Move your abdomen down. So you may find as you go up, like the sitting bones come apart. I think this is the third one. And as you go down, try to feel like there's like a coming in, a compacting of the hips, sitting bones coming towards each other. Okay, so if you're pooped, just put your legs out and rest. If you still have some strength in you, reach your arms up over your head and do 3 more. Reaching your arms over your head to help you stabilize in your torso here. Squeezing the inner edges of the feet together, squeezing the sitting bones together on the way down. Letting the sitting bones spread as you take the legs up. I've lost count. What do you think? Is this 3? Yeah. Okay, that was 3. And hold on to your block and release your legs down. You can take another. It's sort of nice to have these little moments of quiet with the block on the belly. Generally speaking, it is soothing to feel something on the belly. It's like it sends a message to the nervous system itself to spread out. Gives a feeling of safety. Okay, now we can all, one can always return to, well, let's all put the block in between our feet now and straighten out our legs on the floor. So my low back is a little off the floor right now. I'm going to put my hands behind my head and roll my head up. Now I'm not lifting my head with my hands. I really am using the front neck muscles here. Let's just do that a few times. So my hands are following my head up. I'm not pulling my head up with my arms on this. Third time. And now look at your toes. Squeeze the block with your feet. Pull your pubic plate towards your front ribs and lift the legs up off the floor. Take the legs back and roll down. So if that feels like too much to do with your legs straight, you can have bent legs on that. Another time, look at the block, pull the pubic plate towards the front ribs, squeezing the block, lift up. Then either lower now, or if this is coming okay, reach your arms up over your head. And come back down. Okay, so this is going to be a little more challenging, what we're going to do next, and it's not right for you. You've already had a lot of abdominal work, because we've already done a lot of abdominal work. That's cool. You'll just roll over onto your side right now. Otherwise, look at your toes, squeeze the block, lift the legs, reach your arms out, and then squeeze your feet and arms to the right to help you come over onto your right side. And you can balance a little bit with your hand here for a moment. That would be your left hand on the floor, but lift the block higher. So you're lifting your block up. You're trying to still squeeze the block. Then stretch your arm and come back to center. Let's see if we can go to the second side. The hand can rest on the floor. Lift the block here. Squeeze the block. And come back and lower down. So you can just go to one side or the other and practice balancing on your side, having that sense of making a long line in space. And if you're game for this next adventure, we're going to do what's called, or I've called it, a banana roll. So keep holding the block, and this is the whole thing. I come into that, so this is a banana shape, it's a scoop, and then I roll to the side and I keep going until I'm on my belly. And then, sometimes if I have enough momentum, I'm gonna leave my hand, I'm gonna go ahead and use my hand, come through my side. So I'm keeping my feet and my hands elevated the whole way. Sometimes if one keeps going in one direction, there we go. So if I keep going in one direction, and you can fool around with this, I can sometimes do it without the momentum of putting my feet on the floor. You can also put more, this would be one of those moments you could put more padding down, a blanket on the mat. And so let's actually all put a little bit of a blanket on the mat for this next thing. My daughter has kindly agreed to do these classes with me, and I can see she needs some padding. So I'm going to open up a blanket on this one, the whole length for now, and I'm done with my block for now. And we're going to start some rolling. So I'm curling my back here. Again, I have that feeling of scooping in my belly. And this is a roll where my feet and my arms are sort of at ease. So I'm like a big circle rolling. So do that a few times. I think rolling is fun. And it also very much can give one a self of like this center in space, this activated center in space. Now, if you want to make a really tight ball, take your right hand under your right knee, hold your left shin, take your left arm under your left knee and hold your shin. And now I become a really tight ball, so I'm a more dense shape in space. And try to roll here. You'll notice your back is a little rounder, and it might actually smooth out the rolling in a funny way. You can see why we got the blanket. So just feel yourself, this like a little cannonball in space. And come up. And that's our rolling. Is this fine? Feeling okay? Right, let's put our soles of our feet together and our hands behind our hips. Widen out your knees. Press the outer edges of your feet together, especially here. You can even try to open up the inner edges of your feet. Get that sense of pulling from the outer knee into the outer hip. We will be doing that action we will be going to some standing poses today. And now putting the legs back in. So now again, we're in this center line here. This plane is called the sagittal plane in movement analysis or spatial analysis. And I'm going to keep a feeling of my thighs in close to my chest here and balance on my sitting bones. Roll my shoulders back, lift my chest to prepare me for boat pose. And I forgot something. I wanted to retake the block here. So we're going to put the block back in between our knees. And squeezing the block in between the knees gives an interesting feeling of coming to center, which can support this core activation. So from here, I'm going to try to lengthen out my legs and roll to the back of my pelvis. So I'm rolling, I'm scooping my pubic bone towards my ribs as I roll back. And this is called half boat pose. And then I lift my chest and come up to Paripurna Navasana, whole boat pose. And this is, I'm totally forgetting the name of half boat pose. Okay, it'll come to me. Ardha Navasana, half boat pose. squeezing the block may have helped you with that. I was sort of interested that it certainly helped me in that transition from the full boat pose to the half boat pose. Now, we'll come in, we'll straighten our legs in our full boat pose. So my thighs are actually together, and I'm bouncing on my sitting bones again, slide my shoulder blades down my back, reach out to the inner edges of my feet, firm my knees, lift my chest, and then reach my arms forward. That might be enough for you. Come down and rest in Baddha Konasana. And if you'd like a challenge of moving on from there, we'll come into our full boat pose. Then roll, pulling the pubic plate towards the ribs down to Ardha Navasana. And then come back up, full Navasana. I don't tend to get as high on my second Purna Navasana as I did the first one. And then open your legs for Baddha Konasana. And let your hands be in back behind you from here to actually be long in the abdomen in your Baddha Konasana. Open out your legs wide. This is Upavishta Konasana again. Support with your hands behind you. Slide your shoulder blades down your back and feel length in your abdomen after all of that. Expanding out through your legs. So it's like core radiating out. Nice. Now we will, I say nice because that's fun to do. I think that's why I say nice. All right, now let's come up, get rid of our blanket. We can keep our block nearby. Let's do a transitional downward facing dog here. And whenever doing a down dog after some abdominal work, it's especially nice to let go of tension in the abdomen. So to do the work of the legs, of lifting the sitting bones up and moving the sitting bones up and back. Taking your hips back so much that you lengthen on the sides of your abdomen. Be soft in your eyes. Then walk your feet forward. Take your hands to your hips. Move your chest forward. And swing up. Right. So now let's stand in the middle of our mat, feet hip width distance apart. And so we've been doing movement, a lot of movement like this. Let's continue with that for a moment. Reaching the arms up over the head. Press the balls of your feet, press the heels of your feet. Draw up through yourself. And we're going to bend into Utkatasana, bending at the knees, the hips, the feet, the ankles, the knees, the hips. Reach up through your arms, so you're expanding up through your arms. Press down through your feet, come up and press up onto the balls of your feet. That's a little balancing action. And come back. So as we go into these bends, to have a sense of where is the center of our weight, and keeping the center of our weight balanced over our feet is interesting. It might become a little more interesting with the block in between our knees now. So for some of us, this might help our knees track a little easier. In this variation, do keep squeezing the block. And now we'll come up, squeeze the block, push up onto the balls of your feet. And then if you care to do an extra challenge here, bend the knees, keep this sense of where is the center? Where is the center of myself here? And come back. So a little wavering there is part of the course, I think. So it's sort of a nice contemplation. It's a nice concentration to feel, oh, I'm in a more challenging balance pose. Where do I locate center here? Let's now, the feet still hip-width distance apart, do a little bit more of a horizontal plane action, bending the knees, swooping the arms forward, and then pulling the fingers back and going back. And swoop, rounding the back, extending here. I'm not like swinging the belly way forward, but I'm definitely lifting the chest and going into more of an extension, even looking up. And last one. And I guess I should have shown you the side view in terms of, so I'm not going into sort of like the most ultimate swing back I might do. I'm resisting back with my thighs a little bit as I come up there. So I keep my connection to my feet. Now let's go into a vertical plane action, pulling the fingers back. You can't see my fingers, but yeah, there we go. Pulling the fingers back. Pressing down into the left foot, reach the left arm up and over, so it's a real side bend here, like we were doing in our banana roll. So enjoy that side bend. It's a real purposeful lengthening on one side as the other side gets shorter. Carrier worko often talks about an accordion, feeling the accordion-like action of our side body, of our ribs. So feel how, this is not unlike, so feel where's the center when you have this lovely side bend coming. Now, I also want to just review, we did this last week, this arm is very limbering for the whole shoulder girdle, the teacup, and to keep that block up on my hand, I really let my spine move. Side, back, forward, flexion, extension, side movements. And then notice how it could be that the center is almost moving around your body. The center is no longer even in your body. The center is somehow in the center of these various shapes that you're making. And that happens when we leave behind a simple axis or planal movement. Go to the other side once you've experimented with that. I'm not really explaining too much about this other than that I'm making a figure eight. I will say, make a figure eight holding the block balanced on your hand. It's a three-dimensional figure eight. And notice how your hips move, your whole spine moves. And around. Nice. Okay. Let's bring the feet all the way together now. Lace the fingers together. Roll the palms forward. Badanguliasana. So now the center of this shape is very much within us. Press the ball mounds, press the heels, lift the arches. Track the lift of the arches up through the perineum, up along the sides of your spine, up to your open palms. Go to the second side with your fingers. And wrap your arms all the way into eagle pose arms. Bend at your ankles, your knees, your hips. Your back lengthens. Move your elbows up. Feel balance. You can't use your sight for balance, especially here. Where is the center? And come up. Let's do one more. Utkatasana with legs together here. Reach the arms up. Bend at the ankles and knees, the hips. Keep your back long, your abdomen long. Then come up and right on your center axis, rise up. Whoop. And back. Let's jump our feet wide now. A little bend in the legs. Jump wide. Turn your left toes in. Turn your whole right leg out. And come into triangle pose. Turn the right thigh out even a little bit more than the first turn. Breathe in and exhale, taking your hips to the left as you bring your chest to the right. Press your left foot down and track from your left foot a lift of the left arch up along your inner left leg, along the spine. Try to feel both the right side of the spine and the left side of the spine. Make them equal lengths here. Press down through your feet. Breathe in. Come up. Turn your right toes in. Turn your whole left leg out. Press down through both feet. Turn the top of the left thigh a little bit more. Exhale. Move your hips to the right as you bring your chest to the left. And take your awareness to your left foot. Descend the left foot. Lift up through the left arch. Lift up through the left knee. And from the left foot, trace right through yourself, along the sides of the spine, out through the crown of your head. And you make equal length on both sides of the spine here. Press down through your feet. Breathe in and come up. And jump your feet back together. Balance on your left foot. Lift up your right leg. Yeah. Let's just do this. I want to take your block back. So our first balance on our left leg, we're going to take the block around and put it, I'll show you from the side, and put it in between the buttock and the heel, or the heel and the sitting bone. And then try to hold it there. I don't have a lot of range there, so it's a pretty big deal for me to hold the block there. And sometimes I get a little cramp. And if you do get a cramp, just stretch out your leg. You may want to put it up on a chair or something, or bend forward. Second side. So we're both strengthening the back of our leg, our hamstring muscle here, but we're also getting a stretch on the front of the leg. It's an active way to be creating that range, that bend in the knee. For many years, I only did a passive stretch there. So I think it's so good to get that strength coming in the back of the leg as well. Okay, that's enough to do one time on each side. Maybe let's stretch out the hamstrings. Haven't done that. Widen out your feet and come forward at your hips. Place your hands on the sides of your legs. If the fingertips come easily to the side of the floor, that's fine. Otherwise, keep them on the sides of your shins. Widen out your elbows wherever your fingertips are. And widen your collarbones. Press down through your feet. Lift up through your arches. Up through your shins. Try to have a sense that you're feeding your legs into your torso.
forward, take your hands to your hips, breathe in, and come up. Okay, so another balancing pose here. Come onto your left leg, right leg is up. Turn the right leg to the side. You can hold your ankle. So it's also good just to place your foot down low wherever you're able to get it to. But place your foot on your inner thigh. Get this sense of coming in to the midline here. Coming into, so this is a spatial center, that axis. Vertical axis in space. Notice how the left hip might want to fall out to the side. Come in at your outer left hip. So you're not hanging in that hip at all. Open out your arms. Try to lift the leg, the right leg off of the left leg. Second side. Press the foot into the thigh. Press the thigh back into the foot. Be up on that hip. And then come in to the center line here. It's like your hips are coming together. Your sitting bones are coming together. Lift your pubic plate up. So your pubic plate lengthens up here. Growing on the axis. Tree pose. We have some little fruit trees that we planted 2 years ago in our yard, and I looked at them the other day and I thought, I think they've grown over the winter. So you never know, the trees, they want to grow. They want to grow. All right, mountain pose. Be a big mountain, big roots through your feet. Full chest. We're going to want our block for this one. Sorry. Put your block ready on the side. Not that side, but your right side, my left side. And let's jump our feet wide. Turn the left toes in. Turn the right leg out. This will be Utthita Parshvakonasana, side angle pose. So aim your knee directly out over your toes, then lengthen. So again, we're keeping the length on that underside of the torso, on that underside of the spine here. Press the back foot down, lift the arch of the back leg, lift the knee of the back leg, especially the inner knee. Turn the top arm and thread through from the press of the left foot through the reach of the left fingertips. On your next inhalation, come on up, turn your feet forward, move your block to your second side, turn your right toes in, turn your whole left leg out, and aim your knee right directly out over your toes. Then lengthen your side body, your left side body out over your left thigh. Keep a sense of the thigh bone moving into the hip. That's going to actually help you lengthen, stay long on the left side of the spine. Press your right foot down. Lift up from your right arch. Lift your right inner knee. Connect that through a lift right to the sides of the spine and the reach of your right arm over your head. On your next inhalation, breathe in and come up. Turn your feet forward and jump your feet back together. Okay, another Utkatasana. And this Utkatasana, we're going to do one more Utkatasana and then a warrior one pose. And I just want to share, you can just do it with me. But I just want to share the intent of keeping this length through myself up. So I'm at growing in space through my arms. And for me, I don't have a lot of easygoing range of my arms over my head, but I'm trying to keep this sense of length
from here to here, through the entire Utkatasana. So long front body and long armpit here. And I can feel my shoulder blades, or the muscles around my shoulder blades, really activated as I do that in Utkatasana. Breathe in, come up, if you like, press up for Urdhva Urdhva, upward Tadasana. So we're going to keep that in our Warrior One pose. So this will be a Warrior One pose right in the middle of the room. 50? Okay. And jump your feet wide. Roll your arms up. Reach your arms up over your head. Try to get that length along the front of your armpit. Turn all the way to the right side. You can let your left heel spin up to bring your left hip around, and then replant the heel and bend, keeping that length of the arms reaching up. Reach up through the little finger side of your arms especially, moving the tricep to the bone. Lift your chest more and look up. Keep your abdomen moving towards your back body. Press your right foot. Pull the mat back with your right foot. Breathe in, come up. Turn your feet forward. Open out your arms. For a little breather. Open out your arms. Roll them up. Sweep them over your head. Turn to the side. And bend. Keeping the reach of your arms up. You're trying to keep your arms on that vertical axis. Look up, take your chest up. Take your awareness all the way back to your back foot. Press that foot. Thread through yourself to the sides of the spine, up to the fingers. Breathe in. Come up. Open out your arms. And bring them down. Okay. We're going to just visit Warrior 3 pose today. Oh, I totally left out. I'm going to just visit Warrior 3 pose today a little bit playfully. I'm going to go back to, so Warrior 3 pose is a balance pose. And this is a variation on it where I'm going to keep that, holding the block between my heel and my buttock, open out my arms, and I'm just going to bend my front leg into a little balance, like a little hovering Warrior 3 pose. Try not to just drop your belly down to the floor, but do try to lift your back leg up, holding the block. And come back up. You may lose your balance, but the floor is not far away. As with all balance poses, the losing the balance is part of getting the benefits of trying for the balance. The ongoing benefits of losing our balance. So I am on a bend, like I'm letting that front leg bend here. So it's a very bendy Warrior 3 pose. And going back up. And release. Let's just repeat that one time on each side. Holding the block, little bend in the front knee. And come up. And bend of the leg. And come up. Okay, there's one more playful Warrior 3 variation I'd like to do, and this comes straight from Carrie workout. She said she just choreographed it last week. And it sort of combines a few of the movements we've already done. I almost was going to leave it out, but no, it combines a few of the movements we've already done. That's so great. So I'm going to come into a folding of my arms and a lifting of the leg,
with an inhalation. And then I'm going to scoop my back, exhalation. Come back, inhalation. A warrior three, sort of playful warrior three. A little bit of a bent leg. Spread your wings. And now, when you lift your leg to come back in, you're going to step forward and switch legs, breathe in. I might have taken an extra breath there. That's fine to take an extra breath. Exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in and step. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in and step. Breathe in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And step. And that's it. Okay. And now we're going to do a triangle pose at the wall. I don't mean that. I mean a downward facing dog at the wall with your heels up the wall. I'll just show that quickly. I've lifted my heels like 45 degrees up the wall, and the wall kind of attracts the backs of my legs. I want to feel that quality of the legs going back towards the wall, the lift of the sitting bones. So you'll either do down dog at the wall, or you'll do half handstand. I taught that a few weeks ago. I think those of you who are doing it know how to do it. So you can also do a half handstand, or you're going to practice kicking up into handstand. And the kick up into handstand often comes well after doing abdominal action, after sensing the core, because we essentially in our inversions are moving the center of weight of the body up on top of what's the center of lightness in the body. So we're really everything's going topsy-turvy, and we have to have this sense of connecting through the core as that shift of weight happens. So I keep a strong sense of going down through my hands, moving my shoulder blades towards my hands, and I start a kind of scoop. It is even a feeling like my pubic bone coming towards my front ribs. One leg will swing, and the other leg will jump. And at the moment of jumping, there is an activation through the core that keeps things organized as I go up. Keep my upper arm bones squeezing in, shoulder blades going towards my hands. On your way back down, try to slow down that moment when the hips come down from on top of the shoulders, and that again is a moment where the core has to really organize that. We're going to move on to our bellies now. I've taken a blanket and folded it lengthwise, like so. And I'm going to place it on my belly with the bottom edge of it right on the frontal hip bones. It's a little hard. These are my frontal hip bones. It's a little hard to see because I've got dark colors on dark colors there. But I'm laying those two top bones on the edge of the blanket, and then the rest of the blanket is in my belly. And then I'm just resting my forehead on my hands. And then just breathing. Accepting the pressure of the blanket. Also experiencing that my tailbone dropping to the floor, a little bit more than it otherwise might be able to. I also feel a spreading of the fibers of the low back, the back body. And that pressure really helps me feel an ongoing softening in the abdominal organs. So you can stay there longer or return to that at another time. Take the blanket to the side now. If this feels bony or if it feels too hard on your bones to be flat on the mat like this, you can also open up the blanket. Oh, I think I'll just go ahead and open up my blanket too. I'm going to open it up this way now because I will want to have my hands on the sticky part from time to time. So I've got two blocks, and I'm going to place my hands on the blocks and let my head release down. You can let my legs be a little bit apart at first. And I want to here now actively press the tailbone towards my pubic bone and even move the pubic bone towards the frontal ribs. I press my hands onto the blocks, and again, I'm trying to feel that opening across the armpits. And release that. Now place the forearms on your mat and lift your chest up and press your tailbone down for a little mini cobra pose. Slide your shoulder blades down your back here. Broaden your collarbones. Lengthen back through your legs as you press your tailbone down. And come down. Now hold your blocks. Your forehead can be on the floor at first. Then lift up the blocks. You can lift your head slightly. Take them, sweep them out to the side, bring them behind you and clap them. Press your tailbone down. Lengthen back through your legs. And place your blocks down. Let's repeat that. Tailbone down. So before you start doing anything, lengthen back through your legs. Press your toenails down. Lift the blocks. Your arms will go through a natural rotation there. And release. Take your hands by your chest now. Lift your head. I have my hands quite wide on my mat, by the way. And have a sense even that you're widening out your elbows here as you slide your shoulder blades down your back. So you're keeping a sense of being broad as you lift up. So there's a spaciousness, a radiating out from center. Now, place your left hand just for support in front. So again, it's a little bit of a lift of the head and the chest. Take your right arm up and just bring your right arm around in that half circle and place the block in between your heel and your sitting bone. Return your arm, let your head rest on your arms, move your tailbone down and squeeze the block, then lift the whole thigh up, replace. Notice if you lifted your tailbone up, press your tailbone down, and bring the arm around. And can you even bring your heel in a little closer to your sitting bone, and come back. Second side. Squeeze the block, press your tailbone down. Then see if you can lift the whole thigh up off the ground, keeping the tailbone moving down. And release the leg. Take the block in your hand, try to pull the heel in a little closer to the sitting bone. And then return your block back. Now open into a big X, a belly X.
Press your toenails down, lift your arms up, and then pull your elbows back. Move your shoulder blades down your back. And repeat that. Pull your elbows back. Broaden collarbones. And come down. One more Bhujangasana. Wide hands. Start by rolling your arm bones back. Lifting up. Actually, I brought my legs a little bit back, closer together. But I am keeping that sense of widening of my collarbones. Wide shoulder blades on my back. And come back. Okay, let's do one Shalabhasana with arms by our side, locust pose. My palms are down towards the floor. That's kind of a variation, but I like that. It helps to lift my upper arm bones. And now I'm going to squeeze my legs together, lift my chest up, lift my arm bones up, descend my tailbone down, Shalabhasana. And down. Repeat that. Squeeze the legs together, descend the tailbone, lift the arms, lift the chest, lift the legs. And back. Okay, now we're going to do bow pose. That could be your final back bend of the day, and you could move towards legs up the wall now as your final pose. Or you could do a down dog and then legs up the wall. Otherwise, we're going to do bow pose, Dhanurasana. So now I curl up both my heels, and I lift up my chest, and I reach. And maybe to get the reach or the hold, you need to widen out your knees a little bit. I did. And now I lift my chest more, I descend my tailbone, and I rise up. My chest rising, my legs rising. And release down. And again, drop the tailbone down, move the tailbone down. Rise up with your chest, rise up with your hands, rise up with your arms. One more time, and this time, just imagine, where would you locate the center? Is it the center of yourself radiating into the circle, or is it the center of the circle? And release the arms to the side. Let yourself breathe into the earth. Let your back body spread. You can stay there longer if you like. Come up onto, or if you're ready, come up onto hands and knees, and let's come into a down dog. Widen your knees, bring your toes together, child's pose. I'm going to use just this little corner of the blanket to rest my forehead. We're going to end this class today, this practice today, either with at the wall with your legs up the wall. So let me show that. You kind of scoot in on your side until your sit-up bones are almost at the wall. It's not critical how close you get to the wall. Oh, I'm reminded of something. I did want to say, for those of you who have a regular headstand practice, before putting your legs up the wall, or before you would do your shoulder stand, this would be a great moment to do your headstand. So I meant to say that. So if you're keeping going with your headstand practice, this is a great moment to do your headstand. So if you're not going to shoulder stand, you're going to take your hips against the wall and take your legs up the wall. And it's not critical how close you are to the wall. If it feels good to be close to the wall, that's lovely. You can start by stretching your legs, being firm in your legs, and then just let go of effort. And when you come down, you can have your legs in Baddha Konasana for a bit. And then just push away from the wall and be in Shavasana. And if you're doing shoulder stand, set up 3 or 4 blankets. You can have a bolster or a couple of blocks as a launch pad to help you roll your hips. And I also like to take a little extra sticky mat. Sometimes I'll use a second sticky mat, but today I'm just using the end of my one sticky mat for my elbows. And that helps me pin my elbows in place. So I start a little bit away from the edge, and I already want to have a sense of awareness in my arms. I will be doing an external rotation. Right here you can feel that with if you point your tips of your fingers at the ceiling and then you widen them out. That's that external rotation of the arms. And that is part of moving the arm bones down. So my feet in shoulder stand are my shoulders. My shoulders are my feet in shoulder stand. So here we go. We've done a lot of rolling already today and abdominal actions, so I hope that comes pretty well. And I made myself leg distance from the wall today. Sometimes I like to be closer to the wall, or one can not use a wall at all. And I'm going to now get that external rotation of the upper arm bones. Brings me more on the tops of my shoulders. And then scoop my hands around. So there's a kind of a twirling of the hands in and until I can re-establish that external rotation. So let me do that again. I externally rotate. The tops of my shoulders go down. And then I scoop my hands around, but then re-find an external rotation of the top arms. And now I lift my thighs up to lift my hips, kind of like in down dog. I feel like my sitting bones are going up to the ceiling here as I press my shoulders down. I take one leg up and I establish a center axis in myself, a line going up from the sides of my spine to that foot. And then I bring the other leg up. So there's a outer body structure here. Shoulders along the side body, hips up along the legs, almost like 2 columns rising. And there's also a coming into the center. So when my legs are extended here, bringing my sitting bones towards each other really can help with the hip extension, with the lift of the legs up. Keeping my knees pointing up and taking my heels back to my buttocks can also help me use the buttocks to lift upwards as well. One leg to the wall and up. Ekapada, one leg to the wall and up. Then to come down, take both your feet to the wall. You can release your arms out to the side now.
Bend your knees in. And when you come down, it can be helpful to press your arms down along your side. You can also reach your arms overhead. Both methods work. I'm going to press my arms down on the sides of my blankets, releasing my head back as I roll down. I stay soft in my eyes, in my throat as I come down. And that's why sliding off the tops of the blankets can be so lovely there. It just keeps this quality of safety, softness. You can cross your legs into easy cross-leg position here. I forgot to mention it's really nice to take your glasses off when you go upside down. So I've stopped at the moment where the edge of the blankets is lifting my top chest. Change the interlock of your legs. Feel here how the practice, how the shapes you've made affect the breath. Where you feel the breath, where it moves. What does the breath reveal to you? Out of the rest of the pose, you just slide off if there's not enough room. You can just scoot yourself over to the side before you roll over. And now let's set up for a final Shavasana. And you can take any setup that is your favorite Shavasana setup. I quite like to have something under my knees. And so I'm going to take 3 blankets and make a sort of mini bolster with the 3 blankets. I'll move myself a bit more into the camera range. So that mini bolster is behind the backs of my knees. And again, go ahead and take off your glasses if you wear glasses. Put them somewhere you'll find them again. You can absolutely have a blanket under your head. If that, partly just for the softness, that can feel better. But sometimes I actually also like the feeling of my head at the same height as my hips. So you can make a choice about that. If you do feel that your head tends to roll back without a blanket, I would take a blanket so that you do feel length at the back of your neck here. And as though your eyes could soften and settle in. So let go of the skin of your forehead. That skin, as though the skin were releasing from the hairline to the eyebrows. And let the skin of your forehead spread. Let your eyes be soft. Let them settle in the eye sockets. go the weight of your arms, let go the weight of your legs. Let go. And when you're ready to come up, lengthen your inhalation. Lengthen your exhalation, deepen your inhalation. Roll to your side. When you come up, let your head come up last. So I hope you'll continue to make time and space to experience your own vitality, whether that's getting outdoors or doing a practice inside or doing whatever gives you that sense of oneness in you.